Hey everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Whizbit's Random Gaming. Now we're going to head down to my local CEX today, which is based in Romford. But look here, there's some big changes. Now during all of the time that I've been doing CEX tours and visits around the UK, I've never seen a store open to the public while there was a refit going on. Now as you can see here, it's pretty bare in the window. But before we go inside, let's have a look at some merchandise available via the channel now. Now we've got some hoodies available, we've got hats, we've got t-shirts, and I am thinking of a couple of other random items to get put available on the shop in the near future. Now I have kept the costs of these items as low as possible, just to hopefully see if anyone would like to purchase them. Profit isn't the aim here, it's just to get support for the channel. If you'd like to support, we've also got a Facebook group as well, a membership available from 99p a month. Let's take a look inside Romford CEX and see if this has affected the stock somewhat, this shop fit that's going on until the end of September 2025. Now, as you saw earlier in the window, the storefront is looking quite bare and it is moved around in here quite drastically. So there's definitely a lot of transferring of stock into the newly built area, which I'll show you towards the end of the video, and it honestly looks quite nice. I'm quite looking forward to how this all pans out. It's my local CEX and I'm not really someone that gets excited by the layouts of a CEX, but with it being my local, yeah, there's definitely an anticipation on my part. Some pretty big hitting 360 games here. A couple of these are definitely on my want list in the future. There's a few 360 games that I still need to pick up, and there's definitely a couple of those in these piles that you can see before you. Now, I don't know if it's me and whether or not I've been looking at websites like AliExpress too much, but whenever I see a PlayStation 5 controller with a black D-pad, it just rings alarm bells to me. I know that's a quality one, but it just looks like one of those cheap things you get with the emulation boxes. Some good PlayStation 5 controllers here. My personal favourite is the anniversary one or the Astrobot one. I can't make my mind up between the two of them, if I'm honest. And if I was going to pick up an additional one, it would definitely be one of those two. Now, similar to the Xbox games you saw earlier, some fairly expensive PlayStation 3 games here, and the one that stands out to me that I really need in the collection is DuckTales Remastered. I've gone to buy that on a couple of occasions and it's always been a cover reprint, but it's in my local, so yeah, I might be picking that up in the near future. I wasn't really looking to pick much up today. I was just shopping in the area, and then I noticed that the shop window was totally bare and that something was going on, so I thought I needed to investigate further, hence why we've got the video today. Pretty good selection of PS1 games here, and it's nice to see that they're separating the black spined ones from the silver ones. Always good to see and know what you're potentially buying, because some collectors, they don't like the value editions. Good selection of switches, as you will always see in any CEX. And yeah, also we've got some Switch 2s already. I can totally understand why some people might be selling their Switch 2 on, as it hasn't had the greatest of starts, if I'm totally honest. Now, I don't see it being another Wii U. I don't think it's going to go down that road. I think eventually the console will spring into life and it's going to be a fantastic console. Now, this DS, I've got a funny feeling that this isn't legit. But yeah, it's available if you want to pick up a Frankenstein Spider-Man DS. Who wants that? Now, these areas are normally chock-a-block full of retro games. So you can see that the transfer is taking place and stuff is being moved over to the newly built shelves. Again, which I said I'll show you towards the end. But still, there's some really good stock in here as well. Some pretty good DS games here. I don't really collect for the DS, so moving swiftly on. Now onto the forgotten system, the forgotten company, Xbox. I used to love Xbox, but what has it become? I put a video out recently talking about the Xbox in its current state, and it's really disappointing to me. I don't see many new games released on the system whatsoever. There was a time I would buy a game on the Series X over its PlayStation counterpart because it was a couple of pounds cheaper. But those days, in all honesty, have long passed. I now would rather pay the extra couple of pounds, buy it on the PlayStation 5. One of the reasons is that you can record gameplay so much easier on a PS5, but not just that, I'm just kind of done with collecting for Xbox. And the worst thing about it is I don't want to be. Xbox have kind of forced this on people like myself that actually buy and collect physical games. They clearly do not have one eye on that market moving forward, and for that reason I don't really have one eye on them. Now after that big speech about no new games on Xbox, here's one I've never seen before. Sod's Law. However, it's not nothing I was particularly interested in. It's not exactly going to revive any passion that I once had for the franchise, for the console itself. So moving over to the Switch and Switch 2. Now obviously there's not a great deal of releases for the Switch 2 yet. So most branches are mixing in the Switch 2 games amongst the original Switch games as it stands. Now I've picked up some absolute bargains from this branch in the past. Some really obscure stuff for the collection on the Switch. Nothing really was hitting home today. I was always open to picking up a Switch game whenever I go into any video game shop. Despite how much money I might have in my pockets, if I see something on the Switch that I like, I'll find a way to pick it up. Now Bloodstained is a really good game, but I own it on the PlayStation 4. It's not worth double dipping for. And here's a game that got a lot of hate, but for me, I didn't mind it. Operation Wolf, the return game. It's very much a mobile type game, but I had a lot of fun with it. I only got it for like £12 from Play Asia around about a year and a half ago. And for that money, if you see it, I'd advise picking it up. I don't think you can go too bad for that price. If it's £20 or over, or even just around under that, walk away. So over to the PlayStation 5 section, Alone in the Dark. This is getting to the stage, £15. I don't think it's going to get any lower, is it really? One game I definitely want to pick up. So I think I might be picking that one up in the future. If I don't see anything that I want today, then maybe I'll return and have a look at that one. I've got a lot of games on my PlayStation 5 backlog that are probably going to take quite a few hours up. And is it the time to really add another one to that backlog? Maybe not today, but we'll revisit that. Now the new Mafia game that you see there, that is one that I would like to pick up at some point. I'm in no rush, as some of the reviews I've read and heard have been kind of average. But speaking of games that I do want to play, well, I'm currently playing this on the Switch. I finished Shinobi recently and I'm into this one now, Ninja Gaiden Rebound. Brilliant, brilliant game. Absolutely love it. It might actually be better than Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I'm not all the way through this one yet, so I'm not going to make a final decision, but it's brilliant. Now here's a game for my friend Ross over at Bahaha. That's got his name written all over it. Now, I already own it, but the Crash Bandicoot trilogy at £12, that's got to be one of the best value games on the system, surely at £12. They're very, very difficult games though. Now, I did find something here that was quite interesting. This Marvel collection, although this is a cover reprint, this has been made available in B&M for just £10. I've yet to see it. I've been in a couple of B&M since I heard about it. If you're lucky enough to find one, I'd pick that up straight away. Great collection at that price. It's even really good value for money at the price it is being sold at. But yeah, B&M, £10. Never seen it. Hope to see it, because I'll pick that one up and trade it in for a voucher. Or at least I might do a giveaway with it on the channel. Now, as we're scanning around here, there is a PS4 game that I've seen that I want to pick up. See if you can guess what it is, but I'll let you know at the end of the video. I did pop in here hoping to find a specific PlayStation 4 game, as there is a game that I noticed has got a crack in it at home, and I'm on the lookout to pick that one up, but I'll save that for another video. Now, the refit in this shop, I will say all the games look a lot tidier than they ever used to, and this isn't a particularly messy branch, so that is a good thing. The layout looks a lot better. Amazingly, the PlayStation 2 games actually look cleaner. I don't know if they give them a wipe down or something. Now, I doubt it. Maybe it's just the way that they're stacked in a new shelving system. I don't know. But something about it made it look a little bit better. And that's not an easy thing to do with PlayStation 2 spines. Now, I was going to pick up a Ratchet and Clank game today, but to be quite honest with you, I had a quick look at the ones that I need in the PlayStation 2 section, and they wasn't in the greatest of condition. They did look a bit grimy, and I'm going to hang out until I visit Cardiff in October. A load of us are going to be heading down to the Cardiff video game market, so I'm going to be looking to pick up quite a few Ratchet and Clank games on the day there. Possibly the following week as well, when I visit the Black Country Gaming Fair. So got a couple of big events that I'm going to be going to, and I want to have some focus when I'm going to these events on what I potentially could pick up if I don't find anything obscure. Now, even though I was kind of dismissing Xbox earlier, I still love the 360. I still purchase for the 360. Definitely Xbox's best console they've ever released, and I'll still buy until I can buy it no more. There wasn't a great deal here that I don't already own, and stuff that I wasn't really particularly interested in, but I'll always dig around to see what I could potentially find. I've found some really good games in the past just by looking really closely, as obviously you can't tell until you get really close with the spines. Now, of course, there's some games that obviously stand out a mile, your generic stuff, but you skip past that. You know what you're looking for when you're a collector like myself. Now, the PlayStation 3 section looks to be a little bit smaller than the 360 section this time around. I don't know if they're looking to extend upon it as they continue with the refit in this shop. But yeah, nothing really that I wanted to pick up today. As you would have probably guessed now, the ones that are probably worth anything are all in that window that I showed you originally. For the PS3 and the 360 anyway. Now, we've got the PlayStation Battle Royale All-Stars here. Sony's version, their attempt at making a Smash Brothers type game. I remember picking that one up and I hated it even more than I hate Smash Brothers. Alright, maybe that's a bit strong. I don't hate Smash Brothers, but it's a fighting game that I've never really been able to get into. Now, as I promised at the beginning of the video, this is now the back of the shop, so you can see the refit is taking place, and it's off to a pretty healthy start with some great Mega Drive titles here. And this Mega Drive joystick, I've never used one and I don't really want to. It doesn't look great, but it's a lovely looking piece nevertheless. Now, as we go further down, you can see some of the better retro items here. That Game Boy Zelda, fantastic condition. The Game Boy NES SP as well looks really, really nice. Some genuinely nice handhelds here and a couple of really good PlayStation 2 games. Obscure here has really shot up in value. I believe Obscure 2 is the one that's really expensive. I opted to buy it on the OG Xbox because it's cheaper and I'm a bit cheap myself. There you go, I said it. Now, a pretty decent selection of loose carts as well. I like the way they've laid these out here, so they're all really clear to see. That's going to be good going forward. A nice clean copy of Silent Hill 2 here as well. That one just keeps shooting up in price. Now, this PlayStation 1 Namco controller, that's not something you see too often either. But overall, I really enjoyed the new fit. It looks like it's going to be great. But in the meantime, let's have a look at what I picked up today. I wasn't looking to pick anything much up today because, as I said, I was kind of just shopping in the area. I was just curious, a little bit nosy to see what was going on in the shop. Now, I found out I didn't actually own this Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zero on any system. I thought I did, but I had a quick look and I scanned on my app that I use, and no, I didn't. And you know what, £2, let's get this in the collection. I'm quite excited for the new Metal Gear Solid game that was recently released. So yeah, this kind of gives me a little bit of an impetus to keep buying Metal Gear Solid stuff. Now, this is a game that I've been after for some time, and for some reason, I always let it pass me by. Tearaway was supposedly a fantastic game on the PS Vita, and I've heard that although this one is probably not as good on the PS4, it's still supposed to be a really good game. And at £4, I was really happy to add this one to the collection today. This one's going to be going really high to the top of the backlog, and I'll be playing this one pretty soon. So as I said, there was one specific PlayStation 4 game that I was looking for. I'll keep that one a secret. It'll be kind of the subject of another video when I get around to finding a copy. But I did get home to find I had a parcel from CEX, so I'm going to chuck it in here anyway, and that is bombastic. This one is rarely in stock, and a friend of mine put this up on a Discord group that I'm in recently. It's something like £2, but it normally sells for around about £10 to £20 on eBay. It doesn't look like a bad game, and it came in really good condition. So I'm quite happy to have this one at £2. It's not something that comes around all too often, and I do like an obscure random game. So yeah, that was Romford CEX in September 2025. I'm going to be visiting again once the refurb has taken place. So around about a month or so, I'll probably do a return-based video to show you what the shop actually looks like once it's fully completed. As it's my local store, I'm really intrigued to see what happens with it. It was looking good just from the short period of time that I was in there and the small changes they've already made. So yeah, hopefully it looks a lot better and everything displays a lot better, because they do have a lot of stock. And of course, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to see with the way that it is stacked up. That shouldn't be the case moving forward. Anyway, let me know what you think of the stock in store, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, guys.